Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video we're going to be checking out Elsa Bloodstone. Now I have recently pulled her. I haven't had too much experience with her, so I'm clearly not a master of using her or anything like that, but I did find out something interesting, and I'm actually kind of starting to really enjoy using her. And there is a very interesting synergy team. Now I will also be running Suicide Masteries in this video, and Suicide Masteries in themselves actually give her quite significant damage output increase against all non-mutant champions, because so long as she's bleeding, opponents basically are heal blocked and also degen for quite a bit. So that kind of works like an Iceman, if you will, to a degree, to have extra damage at the beginning of every fight. However, there's also a really big advantage to be taken from Nick Fury and Quake synergy, because we all know that Elsa's parry mechanic, where when she parries the opponent, she can evade and counterattack and give you an opening and place one of her debuffs on the opponent. Well, guess what? Her counterattack ability also works with Nick Fury away charges, so it means basically when you would get hit, you trigger Elsa's ability to evade, counterattack, place a debuff on opponent, and get an opening. And now that opens whole alleyway of kind of like extra damage potential plus easy openings for Elsa. And you can play with it in many different ways, but this is a really cool interaction. In fact, so much so that I'm generally considering of taking this lady up to rank 4 or 5, depending if I manage to dupe her or get a skill awakening gem, because I definitely have been enjoying the way she feels, the way she plays. I have had a lot of fun in Uncollected this month with her. I cleared a lot of that stuff there, and all in all, I think just because she isn't like the most stunning and impressive champion from the first look, she did get overlooked quite significantly by majority of the community. I know there are some diehard fans that swear by Elsa. Now, I am currently myself kind of in the middle, but I definitely do see some untapped potential in this character, and I'm kind of really eager to explore it a bit more, just because I find it extremely valuable that she can start the fight with that heal prevention debuff, plus has that extra damage output. Obviously, if she were more suicide friendly, that would be so much better, but it is what it is. You can't have everything, and I still think she has her use in contest. So just like Night Rusher used to be completely ignored by everyone, I am definitely thinking that Elsa has quite a bit she can offer, especially in longer fights as well, when she starts to reload faster and faster. But here we can go in and check out an actual samples of gameplay. Now, I am in quest number 4, I believe, in this month's Uncollected. I'm going to be using mainly Elsa for pretty much all of the fights except one against the Mutant Champion. And as seen before, this is a rank 3 Elsa in Uncollected, fighting opponents that are stronger than herself. I believe their health was something 60 or 80k. I do not remember exactly. But we can see that Uncollected opponents are going down in, like, currently it's at 13 hits. So we saw that every time Hawkeye did try to strike us, we could trigger Nick Fury's synergy, evade the hit, and place a debuff of our own back on the opponent. Plus, that is also an additional way how to get an opening. So basically, her ability to use the Nick Fury synergy in this particular way, plus her interaction with Double Edge Mastery, placing heal prevention debuff on opponents and causing them to degenerate, actually causes quite a nice amount of burst damage on opponents within the initial 20 seconds, I believe. And that definitely is quite valuable, and it is enough to take down Uncollected opponents in like 15 hits as a rank 3 champion without even having a need to launch a special attack or anything like that. Also, a portion, like 4 or 5 of those 15 hits are your actual evades, so it's more realistically like you're actually doing only like 10 hits or so. Now, this fight, again, it was quite interesting because Unstoppable Colossus was obviously unstoppable, and she tried to strike him while he was unstoppable, so he triggered the evade and evade charge pretty much simultaneously there. But as we can see here, he's still dropping down extremely quickly. We have 5 debuffs that enhance our incinerate damage. We have a couple of incinerates plus the degen. Now we're getting another debuff from Elsa active. We have a few more incinerates to place. 15 hits in the fight, and that unstoppable losses is already at like 3% or whatever. The fight is over. The fights are finishing extremely quickly, and yes, because of Suicide Masteries, obviously she does lose some health, but again, if you're using her only as one of the champions in your team, that doesn't matter so much because she can still run through so many fights in a quest. Additionally, obviously, just the simple fact that you're using Quake and Nick Fury, which are two incredibly amazing champions and can put in a lot of work by themselves, and that still leaves you realistically with 2 empty slots to be used for any champions you like whatsoever. I find that to be extremely potent and potentially a great team as well, because in itself it doesn't seem like you're building a synergy team for Elsa to begin with, because as I mentioned before, Quake and Nick Fury are 2 of the strongest champions in a game available, period, and you quite often want them on your team anyways, and you can just plug in Elsa there and enjoy all of these kind of like benefits to her damage potential, which is relatively insane if you ask me. It's definitely like a really neat, nice interaction that takes pretty much no effort from your side, especially if you already have Nick Fury and play Quake. Then just plugging in Elsa there is a wonderful, wonderful addition, and lets her do so much more damage early on, and that basically kind of like works as a damage multiplier for her. And as I mentioned before, you can also use these wades to gain extra openings, because in some of these fights I purposely do not attack afterwards because I want to stack those debuffs before I place my incinerates, but there's also nothing stopping you from starting a combo every single time you do that wade with Nick Fury charge. So whilst typical champions, when they interact with Nick Fury's wade synergy, can be saved from getting hit, Elsa Bloodstone actually can turn that into offensive potential, bypass champions that are unblockable, bypass champions that cannot be stunned, so on and so forth. And she can do it in a relatively quick pace, because her evade charges can kind of like supplement her natural evade, and so for quite a bit while in the fight, you can completely bypass stuff like stun immunity, debuff immunity, or whatever else you have, just because you can use both of these simultaneously. So whenever your evade is not on cooldown, you try to parry and it triggers Elsa's evade and lets you counterattack. And if you need to find an opening whilst your evade is on cooldown, you can just purposely let your opponent strike you, which is going to trigger your evade again, and then you can gain an extra opening and land a full combo, finish with a special attack, and make it kind of like last quite a bit longer. Now, that is really kind of exciting thought, plus kind of like figuring out what her damage would be if she were fully ranked up, makes me curious enough to want to rank her up quite heavily. Now, towards the end of this clip, I'm going to get quite a bit sloppy, and I will not be able to finish off this long shot, not because Elsa couldn't do it, just because I made some silly mistakes and basically kind of ran out of health. And then to make it even more funnier, I brought in Nick Fury, which essentially is pretty much the worst matchup I could have brought in here to begin with, because I'll just get all my bleeds reflected back to me. But my Nick Fury is a rank 3-6 star, therefore we will still be able to close this fight out. But yeah, it's kind of funny, and I decided to leave that in the video because I completely forgot about the node where he sends all the bleeds back to Nick Fury. And that is going to end up in a fairly awkward fight. But hey, I found it funny. I hope so do you guys. Either way, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Do let me know what you think about Elsa Bloodstone in general. Currently, I think that I am extremely likely to take her up at least to rank 4 and try and do a full champion review, because I'm definitely interested in checking out everything she has to offer, because she can counter evading champions. She keeps reloading faster. That kind of means that her damage is getting increased in longer fights. And also she has ability to gain cruelty buffs and so on and so forth. So there is a bit to get around with Elsa Bloodstone, and I definitely haven't fully explored the character and all the possibilities. But now she has piqued my interest, and now I definitely think she has quite a bit of potential to be useful in relatively many different scenarios, especially considering that this synergy is working so incredibly well. But all of that being said, I do think that it is going to be pretty much it for today's video. So if you did like the video, hit that like button, hit that sub button, hit that share button, show it to your friends. Maybe if you have somebody who you know likes Elsa or has an Elsa Bloodstone ranked up, they could find this useful, so definitely do share it around. Do not forget to check out the other videos on the channel and leave a comment about what you think about this synergy in particular, in addition to what you think about Elsa Bloodstone. Should I rank her up? But yeah, that will do for today. I'm gonna catch you guys later. See ya!